This week is week one of like a 6 week long bad hair day. On Monday, Mercury moves into Aries. So that happens in the middle of the night between Sunday and Monday. So Mercury moves into Aries in the middle of the night between Sunday and Monday. And this is like, it's good and bad. Because on the one hand, Mercury is no longer in fall, in Pisces, where nothing works and you can't think straight. But Mercury's in shadow. Mercury's going to go retrograde back through these degrees of Aries and Pisces. So Mercury functions much better, but it's in Aries, it's Mars ruled, it's squaring Mars in Cancer. There's going to be fights. And Venus is retrograde, so it's Mercury coming in to join the party. It's just like too many cooks in the kitchen, too many generals in the trenches. Also, when you wake up on Monday morning, the moon will be in Taurus, so ruled by Venus. Venus recently stationed retrograde in Aries. I made a whole video on that should be either before or after this one, so go watch that. So everything about the Venus retrograde, which is in that other video, will be heightened today because Venus is busy being embroiled in conflict. And the moon also squares Pluto first thing in the morning on Monday. You wake up to a different world on Monday. So the moon squaring Pluto every time for the next 20 years now, every time the moon is in Taurus, it's going to square Pluto. It's going to be like your best version of wellness or what you want for your body. It's going to be hard to get. It's like getting into a car crash with the infrastructure and the blockchain 10-lane freeways that are being built around your wellness habits. And the rest of Monday just kind of like lets you sit with that, because all the moon is applying to a sextile with the sun and a sextile with Mars and Cancer early in the morning on Tuesday. So Monday is can be simple if you let it. Just know that it's like different from Sunday, and we're fully dealing with Venus retrograde right now. Tuesday, good day to wake up early. Like I say, the moon aspecting Mars in the morning is a good day if you're not like one of those morning people, chronotypes. The moon sextiles Mars pretty early in the morning. If you're on the East Coast in North America, it will be later, but wake up early. And then the moon is sextiling Saturn. So the moon is sextiling the malefics, which is like, it's time to roll up your sleeves, get dirty, check things off your to-do list. It shouldn't feel that harrowing. These are sextiles, so you'll feel like you want to address things on Tuesday. And then Tuesday afternoon, evening, the moon is applying to Uranus, a conjunction with Uranus. So unexpected, upsetting, the element of surprise Tuesday night. And Tuesday late night, like after dinner, should be pretty chill because the moon is applying to a sextile with Neptune. So that's chill, calming. It's some of the last, I mean, we have like 30 days, but it's some of the last aspects the moon is going to be making with Neptune in Pisces in our lifetime. And speaking of Neptune, there is an argument, there's major political argument that occurred this week. And I noticed that one of the parties having the argument in like a major political office in the United States, office room, the person who I'm about to talk about is not in the United States government, but they were holding court with the United States government was holding court for this person. This person was wearing a shirt that had the Neptune symbol on it. This tells me that this person, like if I'm going to have an animist point of view, this person has been assigned the rule of Neptune, and they're going to do something on March 30th, or something is going to be done to them, and then maybe they'll be glorified forever, and maybe that will be delusional or not, but we'll glorify war for sure, and crime. Super early in the morning on Wednesday, the moon moves into Gemini. So different tone on Wednesday, busier, chattier, and no longer ruled by Venus, thankfully. That was Monday and Tuesday were probably pretty complicated because of moon's Venus rulership. Venus having recently stationed retrograde in detriment. Things could get ugly. You're trying to make things pretty, but they're just going to be ugly right now. So Wednesday, Mercury is now the boss of the moon, so of everything being activated. Mercury's in shadow right now, so I always say this, when Mercury is in shadow, for me, it's more glitchy than actual Mercury retrograde. But if you want to, like, the worst parts of Mercury retrograde for me, and this is my relationship with Mercury, are the shadow period. So when Mercury enters the set of degrees that it'll retrograde back through, all the way through Mercury stationing retrograde, through the interior conjunction with the sun, which is the Mercury retrograde halfway point. Those two periods, the shadow period and pre-conjunction Mercury retrograde, are often just the glitchiest and craziest for me. So I'm buckled in. So buckle in Wednesday. Also, first thing in the morning, Mercury makes a sextile to Pluto. It's like immediately Mercury takes the mic and gives it to the shady guy controlling everything. The blockchain brain of the outside-in robot managing the aqueducts for the people, conditionally based on their behavior tokens, has something to say. So Wednesday, big morning. Also in the morning, the moon, activator of the zodiac, ruled by Mercury, trines Pluto and sextiles Mercury. So it's everything, it's happening at once, and it's being brought into being immediately. We're not just talking about it, we're doing it. The rest of the day is the moon, ruled by Mercury, applying to a sextile with Venus. So everything's all kind of like tangled up together, and although the moon is ruled by Mercury, we're activating another part of the Venus retrograde. It's just coming alive in a different way. Maybe there's some sort of like nasty gossip happening. The moon is ruled by a Mercury-Mars signature. It's a Mars-ruled Mercury squaring fallen Mars. So that moon sextiling Venus, I just think nasty gossip. But it also could be something nice. Like, it could be something sweet. It's like a fun time, a fun, chatty, boisterous, active time, like being active could be good here, but just like keep an eye on everything. Watch out for injuries. Watch out for adding insult to injury. Pleasure is complicated right now. So if you're not like going hard and being the most like personal development, best self, just like trying to be the best and win first place, being super competitive, if you're trying to have like a warm fuzzy time in an uncomplicated way, that's not like, if that is accessible to you, you're very, very lucky. I don't say this for you to be pessimistic. I say this to be like, the general experience is going to be like a more complicated moon sextile Venus than usual. All pleasure comes with like weird strings right now. And it'll have to do with whatever parts of your chart are implicated in the Venus retrograde, which I talk about in my Venus retrograde video. Also, super late night, Wednesday/early morning Thursday, the moon conjoins Jupiter in Gemini. There's a lot going on. It's super exciting. You're optimistic about like doing all the things. You might feel that way like when you wake up in the morning on Thursday. Thursday starts optimistic but gets more serious as the day goes on. So it's more serious and things are like, shit is getting more real. So the moon is entering its second quarter. So we're like, the light is building towards fullness. So the energy is like, things that are happening now are like, they're being granted energy for the future. They're not dying. We're not wrapping up. We're beginning. So if you have an outburst, that's going to carry through the full moon, through eclipse season. Know that the light that's building, it's eclipse light. Like the next lunation is going to be an eclipse, a full moon, a lunar eclipse on the south node in Virgo. That's a taking away signature. Usually full moons are like, it's a culmination and you can like release things after the full moon. But this is like, oh, things are going to be released. If you're not willing to give up stuff, it is going to be ripped away from you if that Virgo part of your chart is really important, or if you're in a Mercury ruled year, like a Virgo profection. Something I'm doing is cleaning my space, but I'm a Pisces, I can do whatever I want. So the moon is applying to a square with Saturn late afternoon, evening on Thursday. So it's going to feel heavy. You'll feel like you have too much to do. You want to go socialize, but you have to like take care of your soul. You have to do your litany of super long prayers. Don't do any ritual magic. It's not something I would recommend leading up to or coming off of any type of eclipse. And late night on Thursday, the moon is squaring Neptune in Pisces, our last month of moon aspecting Neptune in Pisces for a long time. We'll get another taste of it like later in the year in October. Neptune will move back into Pisces for like a little while and then enter Aries forever. So Thursday night is like, it's not so much chill as it is comatose, and to watch out for intoxication and embarrassing yourself, making the wrong choices, hoisting yourself by your own petard. That's more like when Neptune enters Aries in April. That's a better metaphor for Aries than Pisces. So Friday, early in the morning, you'll wake up around that moon squaring Neptune, so it might be hard to wake up. Or you might like plan on sleeping in and you have a rude awakening, or you were supposed to wake up early and you don't. Early to mid-morning, depending on where you are, the moon moves into Cancer, which normally would be like getting a little relief, being able to feel good and have like the moon's just ruled by the moon. But we have Mars in Cancer, so the moon is applying to Mars in Cancer. That's the planet of violence and argument, in the place where it gets the most butthurt, the most like will hurt things in an attempt to protect things. So Friday, Cancer moon, it's not like the activator of the zodiac is still like embroiled in all the complications of the time. For much of the day, the moon on Friday is squaring Mercury. So we're coming up against, and then after that it's going to square Venus. We're coming up against, the moon is activator of the zodiac. So the impending Mercury retrograde, the currently underway Venus retrograde, they're being activated. Things about that, they're being brought into reality. And it's a square, so they're being dragged into reality. And the square Mercury, which is squaring Mars by sign, is a very argumentative signature. There might be like something you are trying to be comfortable and someone needs to talk to you, and you don't want to, or someone needs to yell at you. There's a conflict between caring for stuff and communicating in an impactful manner. It's going to be impactful. Kind of a silver lining. The sun trines Mars at night on Friday. So there's something like our core essence has the energy. And this sun trining Mars happens when Mars is either stationing direct or retrograde. And Mars just recently stationed direct. So this is just like a part of the normal cycle. Like Mars stationing direct is a renewal of our energetic force, and the sun trining Mars is a part of this. Like there's never a Mars stationing retrograde without the sun trining. So we don't get a break with this like moon in Cancer. You're not gonna get a break. Late night, the moon is squaring Venus. So this sounds difficult. Like the moon is wanting to be gentle and care for things, except Mars is there, so it can't. There's like battles to deal with to like protect life and protect yourself from people trying to protect life who are causing harm. And Venus is over there like either being independent or being forced to be independent and not wanting it. And so there's like no, I wouldn't call it cold comfort. I would call it like scalding hot, burning comfort. Much of the first part of Saturday is concerned with the moon applying to a conjunction with Mars in Cancer. This is Mars direct in Cancer, so Mars has been through a lot over the past few months, and it's definitely like Mars is moving forward now. Like there is forward motion and it is unmistakable. And in Cancer, Mars can be more ruthless, more cruel than many other places. Cruel in like an overt, like literally undignified way, but much more dignified than what has been happening the past few weeks. And Mars rules both Mercury and Venus. Mercury's upcoming retrograde, Venus's current retrograde. So it's like, the moon is like checking in with Venus on Monday and Tuesday, checking in with Mercury, and now our activator of the zodiac is checking in with the big boss right now, which is Mars in Cancer. So kind of a shitty boss. Saturday evening, the moon in Cancer is able to put the violence and arguments behind it and focuses on a trine with Saturn. So that might be like, there might be heaviness and seriousness, but it might feel welcome and almost like this trine with Saturn, it's a trine, so it could feel almost soothing given everything that's been happening. It's just like, yes, put a damper on things, please. So I said you don't get a break, but your break is to like go focus on some other work you have to do, some other obligations, and you're allowed to do that for a moment. I don't know how far that gets you like late at night on a Saturday night, but so it's not like if you're having fun on Saturday night, it's more like you get a little escape from all the chaos, but I wouldn't call it a true escape. I would call it like a workation Saturday night. And then late Saturday night, there might be like some weird surprises if you're awake because the moon sextiles Uranus. and then trines Neptune. The first part of Sunday is concerned with the moon trining Neptune in Pisces. Soak it in as Neptune is moving into Aries soon. It's also like pinging parts of the Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde stories, giving us hints of things coming in early April. Chill Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, things get a little more lively when the moon moves into Leo. Praise be, this could be a real break. The moon is governed by the sun right now, which is in Pisces. So eclipse season is coming. There's going to be a lunar eclipse on the south node in Virgo. But at least the sun is just in Pisces. It's not being governed by any of the Mars, Mercury, Venus, mass. You could maybe step away from that for 2 minutes. Except the moon does oppose Pluto immediately. So the second part of Sunday is like you get a break, but then there's an impending doom, like a sense of impending doom or darkness, or just like maybe you're not aware of the darkness that is like swirling beneath you, changing your reality without you knowing it. Late night on Saturday, if you're awake, that could be a chatty, maybe possibly kind of fun, although watch out for it because Mercury is in shadow. Late night after party, because the rest of like Sunday night after the moon opposes Pluto. If you're on the West Coast, this will more apply to you because you're more likely to be awake. But if you're on the East Coast, you'll probably be asleep. The moon is trining Mercury. So Mercury is like glitchy and girl, you in trouble. But the moon trining Mercury is like, at least you're getting a glimmer of like something fairly constructive happening. It might be like a figuring things out. Like, look what I figured out with the moon in Leo trining Mercury in Aries. I figured out the right words to say. This will come under review. There will be a quiz later and you might not do a good job, but for right now you have got it figured out. We are officially in one of the craziest months of the year. These are the craziest 8 weeks of the year. Get ready. Remember, your Wi-Fi is a camera that can see through walls.